You alright guys, how we doing? Clinicality here back with another player review. Today we're reviewing the 80 rated in-form Henderson. Now Liverpool didn't play all that well last weekend, they got a 2-2 draw against West Brom. But out of all of the players, he was the best one on the pitch. He was involved in both of Liverpool's goals, getting one goal for himself and assisting the second. As you can see, this is the team that I used him in. The team itself was really good. I loved using this team, absolutely destroyed people with it. Shaqiri in particular was just an absolute monster out on that wing. Anyway, back to Jordan Henderson. Now by default he is a centre mid. I moved him up to the cam role to try to get a little bit more out of him. Now because of this, on the player instructions I decided to tell him to stay forward. He does have high defensive work rate, so I wanted him to stay up the pitch and play as a cam. So I told him to stay forward. I also told him to play aggressively in terms of interceptions. He has a lot of stamina. I think it's something like 96. And so he's not going to get tired chasing the ball. And it worked pretty well. Now it says we played 7 games. It was 6. One of them did disconnect. So in the 6 games that we played, he scored 8 goals and got 5 assists. That is really good for any player. But for someone who I really didn't expect all that much out of, it was really quite a nice surprise. When I used him, he felt really good. And a return like that is really nice. Now he cost us 65k. He goes for about that on Xbox at the minute, and about 55k on PlayStation. It's not too bad for an inform, especially one in the Premier League. And he will continue to drop. I'd imagine he will settle at about 30-40k, something like that. Now Henderson's base stats, he has 75 pace, 77 dribbling, 74 shooting, 72 defending, 83 passing, and 82 physical. Onto the in-game stats now. Literally everything is green. And that 96 stamina, as I said before, that stands out for me and it really does help. Obviously 75 strength as well is not bad for a centre mid. Onto the skill attributes now. Again, a lot of greens in there. 85 short passing and 83 long passing, probably his standouts. As well as 81 curve and 83 crossing. He's 6 foot tall. He can play centre mid, CDM or right mid. High work rates. He's right footed, 3-star weak foot, 3-star skills. He has the engine speciality and the team player trait. Now as we get into the clips, I'm going to start off with his shooting. As you see here, his shooting is actually really nice. I didn't really expect all that much out of his shooting, but his finishing in particular is really good. His long shots are okay, they're nothing special, but you can hit a few. I didn't try all that many because he was always in the box trying to get those close range finishes, but for the most part his shooting in general is really nice. Onto his passing is by far and away his best stat. It's so good. Short passing is absolutely spot on. When he first started coming to the scene at Liverpool, everyone said that he was like a young Steven Gerrard, and this card feels just like Steven Gerrard's cards have on previous years. Perfect passing. His crossing, I'm not a fan of his crossing. I did try a few. He did end up out on the wing. His crossing was a bit disappointing for me, but the rest of his passing, absolutely spot on. So as long as you keep him in the middle, every pass will go where you want it. Onto his dribbling is average, nothing special. In particular his agility is quite bad. He doesn't turn very quickly, so it can feel a little bit sluggish. And he only has 3-star skills, which is not ideal I guess. But for the most part it is okay. It did however let him down a little bit at cam, because you do kind of need good dribbling, and his was very average. In a more defensive role, where he can just sit and pass the ball, it'd probably be a lot better. His physical stats felt really good. He felt really strong. His jumping was really nice. He won a lot of the headers and he can actually direct the headers really well. His pace, as you'd imagine, is fairly average. He is only a centre mid. He doesn't need an awful lot of pace, so it's not too big of an issue. He has 3-star weak foot as well. Now I didn't really test it out in shooting. I wouldn't imagine it would be that brilliant, but in terms of passing the ball, it didn't really affect it. He can pass with his left foot pretty well. But the standout thing for me on this guy's card, other than his passing, has to be his work rates. High work rates. For a cam, maybe not the best, but if you move him back to centre mid, where he probably will play better, those work rates are so good. He is so energetic. You'll never find him standing still on the pitch, ever. He's always moving, whether that's forward or backwards. And it just makes moving the ball around in midfield so easy, because he's always trying to get into space. And obviously with his 96 stamina, he's never going to run out of energy, so he will literally just run all game long. Now over the course of the 6 games, he picked up an average match rating of 8.7, really nice rating and well deserved. His card was really nice to use. As I said, I was quite surprised at just how good it was. Onto his pros, 100% his passing is the top thing of this card. So good, absolutely spot on. Really good strength as well. His jumping and his heading are really nice. He's particularly good at set pieces. Corners, I found he got them spot on where I wanted them. And he can take a drilled free kick as well. And his stamina, obviously one of his standouts. As I say, he will run all game long. Onto his cons, for me, his crossing was a con. Didn't feel like 83 at all, it was pretty poor. And his agility was his main downfall. Other than that though, I couldn't think of anything else. And yeah, I really did enjoy using this card. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I think in this cam role, he is good. But at centre mid, he could be upwards of a 9 rating. I reckon if you moved him back to centre mid, he would be an absolute engine. He will be all over the pitch. He'll be back defending for you. He'll be up there creating chances. And as I said, his passing is spot on. And yeah, overall, just a really nice card for a fairly decent price as well. As always, if you guys decide to go and pick him up, let me know down in the comments how he played for you. I always love to see that. Other than that, if you enjoyed, please drop a like on the video. Subscribe, as there is so many more player reviews to come on my channel, as well as other FIFA content. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.